Commander Raylan Cole had spent the last 6 months alone on Outpost Zaytanine. It was a small research station on the edge of human space, orbiting a quiet, dry planet. His job was simple: watch the skies, scan for signs of alien activity, and report back. But the truth was, nothing ever happened. Until that night, a strong sandstorm hit the planet. Raylan was inside, checking the sensors, when he saw something strange on the radar. A moving shape, not a rock, not a storm drone. Something alive. He stepped outside, pulling on his breathing mask and long coat. The wind screamed in his ears, and sand hit his visor like tiny bullets. But the shape was still there, glowing faintly in the dark. It was a girl, at least. She looked like a girl. She stood tall, maybe 6 feet, with smooth feathers covering her body like a soft blue cloak. Her eyes were large and golden, glowing in the darkness. Her hands had long fingers, and her feet had sharp claws. She looked alien, but not dangerous. She was hurt. One of her wings, yes, she had wings, was bleeding. She looked at Raylan, confused, afraid, but didn't run. Raylan raised his hands. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." She didn't understand the words, but maybe she understood his voice or his face. She let him come closer. Carefully, he helped her inside the station. He cleaned the wound, gave her water, and wrapped her wing. She watched him the whole time, never blinking. When he handed her a blanket, she touched his hand. Her fingers were warm, soft, almost human. They sat in silence for a long time. She didn't speak his language, and he didn't know hers. But somehow it didn't matter. That night, they stayed close. The cold desert wind howled outside, but inside, it was quiet. Something passed between them. It's a strange connection. Not love, not yet, but curiosity, trust, and something else Raylan couldn't explain. She rested her head on his shoulder, and slowly he closed his eyes. In the morning, she was gone. The door was open. Her footprints were in the sand already. Fading, Raylan searched the hills, the cliffs, even the radar logs. Nothing. She had vanished like a dream. But something was different. There was a strange mark on his arm. A glowing symbol shaped like a spiral with dots around it. I didn't hurt, but it felt alive. Like a quiet buzz under his skin. Raylan scanned it. The computer couldn't identify it. It wasn't a burn or a tattoo. It was something else. Something not human. He didn't report it. He didn't know why. Maybe he was afraid. Maybe he didn't want to explain what really happened. Weeks passed. The mark on his arm didn't fade. It pulsed softly, glowing more at night. Raylan had strange dreams, flying through stars, hearing voices he couldn't understand, feeling feathers brush his skin. Then, one morning, the ground shook. Raylan ran outside. The sand near his shelter had cracked open. And in the center of the crater, something was waiting: an egg, not a bird egg. This was massive, taller than a man. Covered in a smooth, glowing shell with colors that shifted like oil and water. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Raylan stood there, frozen. He couldn't speak, couldn't move. The mark on his arm lit up. The egg responded. It pulsed brighter. He stepped closer. Carefully, the air around the egg felt warm, almost electric. Then, from deep inside, sound, a soft, muffled cry. Raylan's heart pounded. What the hell is this? The egg didn't answer, but somehow he knew it was hers. The feathered girl. She had left this behind, not a gift, not a trap. A message. He placed a hand on the shell. It was smooth and warm, like living skin. Then his communicator beeped. Outpost Zaytanine. This is command. We've detected a strange energy spike from your area. Report immediately. Raylan looked at the egg. Then at the communicator. He turned it off. Whatever this was, it wasn't time to tell anyone yet. He had to understand it first. He had to wait. He had to protect it somewhere. Deep in space, he felt her eyes watching him, and the egg pulsed again, like it was waiting. To be born? Asterisk, the egg was breathing. Raylan didn't notice it at first. But after a few days, he realized the truth. Every morning when he stepped outside, he saw tiny puffs of steam rising from the shell like warm air escaping. Into the cold desert sky, he set up a tent to cover it. Dug a small trench around it to keep it safe. The egg didn't stop glowing. If anything, it glowed brighter at night. It pulsed in rhythm with the mark on his arm. He tried to scan it with his equipment. No result. It wasn't made of metal or stone or anything known to Earth science. When he touched it, it felt like glass, but it was alive. He could feel something moving inside, a shape, a presence. Sometimes he heard a voice, not with his ears, with his mind, soft, gentle. Not words exactly, but feelings, emotions, hunger, sleep, curiosity, connection. He started having dreams again. Clearer this time, he was standing on a cliff. Stars above, fire below. The feathered girl stood next to him, holding the egg in her arms like it was sacred. She looked into his eyes and whispered something he couldn't understand. But one word echoed in his head when he woke up. Yure. He had no idea what it meant. But when he said it aloud, the egg shook gently. The mark on his arm glowed brighter. Raylan stopped reporting to command. He kept the cum silent. Every time they called, he ignored it. He knew what would happen if they found out. They'd take the egg, study it, lock it up, maybe destroy it. He couldn't let that happen. The egg was a secret, his secret, and he was starting to believe. It was alive because of him. One morning, Raylan woke up to find something strange outside his station. Footprints. 3 sets, not human, clawed feet, long steps, deep imprints in the sand. Something or someone had been watching the shelter. He reached for his blaster, scanned the area. Nothing on sensors. No movement, but something had been close. Very close. When he checked, the egg, it was warm-hot even. The shell had changed. Fine cracks were starting to spread across its surface like lightning frozen in time. He wasn't sure if that meant it was about to hatch or explode. That night, the dreams returned. This time, he saw her again. The feathered girl. She looked different older. Her feathers were darker, her eyes glowing with fire. She stood in a field of stars, holding a weapon made of light. Behind her, hundreds of ships. Alien ships, and then a voice. Clear, inside his head. They are coming. Raylan woke up, gasping. The alarm was blinking red. A ship had entered orbit. Unknown ID, no Earth signature. He grabbed his scope, climbed the ridge, and looked toward the horizon. A sleek, dark ship hovered in the distance, sharp wings. Silent. Thrusters, not a scout, not human, alien. It didn't land. It just watched. Raylan stayed hidden. Hours passed. Then the ship vanished, slipping back into the sky like a shadow in water. But Raylan knew. They had found the egg, and now they were deciding what to do that night. He sat beside the egg, holding his blaster in one hand and a flashlight in the other. He spoke softly. I don't know who you are, or what you're supposed to be, but if they come back, I'll protect you. I promise. The egg pulsed once, then again, then. It spoke, not in sound, but in his mind. Clear, calm, young. She is coming. Raylan stood up. Who? No answer. Just a glow. Then, from far across the desert, a flash of light. A falling star. No, it was controlled. It's a small ship breaking through. The atmosphere, it landed miles away. But the earth trembled under Raylan's boots. He stared into the darkness. His heart was racing. The feathered girl was coming back, and she wasn't alone. The egg was glowing like a small sun. Raylan didn't sleep that night. He sat near it, staring at the horizon where the alien ship had landed. The sand was still shaking from the impact, and strange lights danced far off in the dark. Then he heard wings, not birds, not machines. Real wings. The sound was soft at first, like cloth blowing in the wind. Then it grew louder, heavy, rhythmic, like something big was flying low across the desert. Raylan grabbed his blaster and stepped outside. Shapes moved through the air, tall, graceful, covered in feathers that shimmered under the twin moons. 3 of them, they landed without sound. Tall like her. Blue feathers, gold eyes. But these weren't kind. They wore armor made of bone and crystal. Their faces were sharp, eyes cold. They looked at the egg, then at him. One stepped forward. He didn't speak, but Raylan felt the message in his mind. You were chosen. Now return what belongs to us. Raylan stood firm. I don't even know what this is. Another alien hissed, its claws tightening on a long silver spear. The first one continued, his voice now clear and deep, though still inside Raylan's head. She broke our law. You carry her mark. That egg must not live. Raylan's blood ran cold. What do you mean? What's inside it? The alien didn't answer. Instead, they raised their weapons. The egg pulsed again, faster this time, like a heartbeat speeding up. Suddenly, a light burst from the sky. A new ship descended, smaller, faster, sleeker. It opened mid-air, and she dropped down the feathered girl. But this time, she didn't land quietly. She hit the ground like thunder, wings outstretched, eyes blazing, and in her hands, a blade of pure white energy. She looked at the warriors, then at Raylan, then at the egg. Touch him, she growled, her voice echoing across the sand, and I will end you. The warriors stepped back. For the first time, they looked. Afraid, Raylan stared at her, stunned. She had changed. Before, she was soft, curious, mysterious. Now she looked like a queen, a warrior, a storm with feathers. She walked past him, stood beside the egg, and placed her palm on it. The egg responded with a soft hum. Raylan whispered, "What's going on?" She turned to him, her voice low. They are my kind, but they fear change. They fear what we made. She touched the mark on his arm. It glowed brighter. Raylan's heart pounded. I didn't agree to this. She looked into his eyes. You did? When you didn't stop me. He remembered that night. Her touch, her sadness, her hope, and now a living egg was the result. Half her, half him. Something new. The feathered warriors watched silently. They didn't move. The leader finally spoke again, this time aloud. You are both outcasts now. That creature will bring war. The feathered girl stepped forward. No, that creature will bring choice. Then she raised her weapon. The air shimmered. The ground cracked. And the warriors disappeared in a flash of light. Not dead, just gone. Raylan turned to her. What now? She looked at the egg, then at the stars. They'll return. With more, the egg must stay hidden. Raylan shook his head. Hidden. It's the size of a small truck. She smiled, just a little. That's why you're here. The egg listens to you. It trusts you. It chose you. Raylan stared at the glowing shell. Then the egg spoke again inside his mind. They will all come for me. Raylan whispered. Why? The voice replied, soft and calm. Because I am not just a child. I am a beginning. Asterisk Raylan ran. Sand whipped across his face as he stumbled through the night. Behind him, the egg rolled gently in its hover cradle, glowing brighter with every step. Beside him, the feathered girl moved silently, her wings half spread. Always watching the shadows. They were no longer safe. Not since the sky lit up with warning beacons. Not since the feathered warriors called for backup, every sensor on outpost. Zaytanine was flashing red. Drones flew overhead, searching with cold blue lights. The patrols were closing in, alien and human alike. Raylan and the girl hid inside a broken cargo shuttle, holding their breath as the searchlights passed by. Inside, the egg pulsed with a new energy. The cracks on its shell were growing, spreading like tree branches in ice. Sometimes Raylan heard a heartbeat. Sometimes he heard a whisper. He wiped sweat from his brow. "We can't keep running forever." The girl nodded. "If they find us, they'll destroy the egg. Or, worse, use it." Raylan looked at her. Use it for what? She hesitated. For the first time, she looked truly scared. "It's not just a child, Raylan. A tease. A key to what?" He whispered. "To everything that comes next." A noise outside, the sound of claws scraping metal. Raylan raised his blaster. The girl raised her weapon, wings flickering with blue light. A shape appeared in the doorway, a tall, shadowy figure. Not one of the feathered ones, not human. It wore black armor, its face hidden behind a silver mask. Its voice sounded deep, cold, and strange. "Give me the egg, or none of you will leave this planet alive." Raylan stood between the egg and the stranger. "You'll have to go through me." The stranger smiled, a thin line of light behind the mask. Easy to do. Suddenly, the figure rushed at them too fast to see. The girl jumped in front, blocking the attack with her energy blade. Sparks filled the air. Raylan fired his blaster. The bolt bounced off the stranger's armor. The egg pulsed, then glowed so bright the whole shuttle filled with white light. The stranger screamed and covered his eyes. The feathered girl pulled Raylan down behind the egg, using it as a shield. In the blinding light, Raylan heard a voice inside his mind. "Protect me. Trust me." Raylan placed his hand on the egg. The mark on his arm glowed, sending out a wave of heat. The stranger was thrown back, slamming against the shuttle wall. The girl helped Raylan up. "Now, we have to move." They escaped out the back, dragging the hover cradle through the dark. The desert was alive with alarms and shadows. They ran until the sun started to rise. Hiding inside an old mining cave, Raylan collapsed, breathing hard. The girl wrapped her wings around the egg, whispering soft words in her language. Raylan listened to the echo of footsteps and voices outside. He pressed his hand to the egg, feeling its warmth. "Why do they all want you?" he asked quietly. The egg answered, its voice trembling but clear. "Because I am change. I am hope, and I am danger." Raylan looked at the girl. "Can you stop them?" She shook her head. "Not alone, but maybe. Together we can buy enough time." Raylan nodded. "Then that's what we'll do." As the morning light crept into the cave, the cracks on the egg glowed brighter. Raylan knew the real hunt was just beginning. The cave was silent, except for the soft humming from the egg. Raylan hadn't slept. He sat with his back against the cold stone, blaster ready, eyes locked on the egg. The girl watched the entrance, her feathers ruffled and bright in the early light. Suddenly, the egg began to change. A crack opened along the top. A pale golden light spilled out, lighting up the whole cave. For a moment, Raylan forgot to breathe. The girl kneeled beside the egg. She spoke in her language, soft, musical words, the shell responded, shifting and shining. Raylan crawled closer. "Is it hatching?" The girl nodded. "Soon, But not yet. It waits for you, Raylan frowned. For me? She touched his marked arm. The egg was never just mine. You are part of it, too. That night, our choices made something new. Something. Both of us. Raylan's mind spun. But why? Why me? She looked sad, then brave. Our people can't survive much longer. We are too few, too afraid of change. Our leaders believe mixing our kind with humans is dangerous. But I believe it's the only hope. Raylan shook his head. I'm just a soldier. I don't know anything about saving a species. She smiled gently. You knew how to care for someone you didn't understand. That's the beginning. The egg pulsed brighter. Suddenly, voices echoed from deeper in the cave. Raylan aimed his blaster. The girl raised her blade. From the shadows, a small group stepped forward. Not warriors, just old feathered ones. Their eyes tired, but wise. One held up empty hands. We mean no harm, the elder said, her voice soft as wind. We followed. The light. The girl rose to meet her. Mother Raylan stared. Your mother. The elder looked at Raylan with curiosity and kindness. You carry the mark. The egg chose you. Why do you protect it? Raylan hesitated, but answered honestly. Because it's alive. 'Cause it's part of both of us. 'Cause it's hope. The elder nodded. You speak truth. There are many who fear the egg. The queen wants it destroyed, but some of us want it to live. The girl gripped Raylan's hand. This is our last chance. If the egg hatches, our bloodlines will change forever. Raylan felt dizzy. So the queen sent hunters. The mother nodded. Yes, she fears what's inside. The egg is more than a child. It is a genetic key. A bridge. It carries the future. Of two worlds, the egg's light grew stronger. The mark on Raylan's arm was burning now, but it didn't hurt. Instead, it felt like energy filling his whole body. Then, he heard the voice again, clear and sure in his mind. You are my father. My guide. When I wake, I will need you. Raylan swallowed hard. Can it hear me? The girl nodded. The egg listens to you. It knows your thoughts. It dreams of you. The elder stepped closer. You must decide, Raylan. If you choose to stand with us, the child will be born free. If you run, the queen's soldiers will find you. If you give up, all hope is lost. Raylan looked at the egg, then at the girl, and finally at the elder. He thought of all the lonely nights on the outpost, the silence, the emptiness, and now, here was something truly new. Something alive, fragile, and powerful. He nodded. I'll stand with you. I'll help the egg. The girl smiled, a real, warm smile this time. Then, the egg cracked again, deeper, louder. A golden glow filled the cave. Outside, the morning was broken by the sound of alien engines, warriors searching. The queen's forces arriving. Raylan stood between the egg and the entrance, his hand glowing with the mark. The real fight was about to begin. But now, he understood what he was protecting. Not just a life, but a future. The war started with a single cry. It echoed out from the cave as the egg broke open, louder than thunder, filling the sky and shaking the ground. For a heartbeat, everything stopped. Searchlights froze. Engines fell silent. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Raylan shielded his eyes as a golden light poured out of the egg, painting the cave walls with strange symbols and shadows. Inside the light, something moved, small, bright, and new. A hybrid child stepped into the world. Half feathered, half human, its eyes shining with the colors of both species. Its first breath sounded like a song. The feathered girl, now a mother, knelt and wrapped her arms around the child. Tears ran down her face, part fear, part hope. Raylan felt his heart break and grow all at once. He dropped to his knees and reached for the child's hand. Outside, the noise returned. Alien warriors marched through the canyons. Their weapons glowed with cold blue fire. The Queen's flag waved over the sand. But something changed. The golden cry of the egg had called others. From hidden tunnels and broken ships, rebels and outcasts began to appear. Some were feathered, their faces marked by scars and hope. Others were human miners, exiles, and old friends Raylan had thought gone forever. A small army gathered around the cave, drawn by the new light. The mother stood at the entrance. The child beside her, Raylan close behind. The rebels spoke quickly. We've waited for a sign. The Queen has ruled with fear for too long. What do we do now? Raylan looked at the child. The mark on his arm glowed, matching the pulse of the child's heart. He spoke loud enough for all to hear. We stand together. We protect the child. No more running. A rebel with broken feathers nodded. We have weapons. Old tech, Earth-made. It may be enough. The mother lifted her energy blade. We have more than weapons. We have hope. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed across the canyon. The Queen's warship hovered above, casting a giant shadow. A message blared in every language. Surrender the child, or face extinction. Raylan stood tall. We will never surrender. The rebels cheered. Their numbers grew as more arrived, drawn by the light and the promise of change. The hybrid child stepped forward. A gentle wind whipped through the canyon. Every eye turned toward the child, looked at the Queen's ship, and raised a small hand. Golden energy sparked from its palm. Lights flickered on every weapon in the canyon, human and alien. Engines stuttered. The ground trembled. For the first time, the Queen's soldiers hesitated. Raylan saw it. Fear. He knelt beside the child and whispered, "You are stronger than you know." The mother spoke to the crowd. This is the future. Not just mine, not just his. All of ours. A blaster bolt struck the ground, sending sand into the air. The battle began. Lasers flashed. Wings beat against steel. Human miners fought side by side with feathered rebels. The hybrid child moved through the chaos, golden energy swirling, blocking attacks, lifting fallen friends, sending a wave of courage through every heart. Raylan fired his blaster, protecting the child at all costs. The mother cut a path through enemy lines. Her eyes fierce, her hope unbroken. Above, the Queen's ship turned, ready to unleash its final weapon. But the rebels did not run. They stood, united by something new, something more powerful than any old fear. And the world watched as the uprising began. The Queen's warship hovered in the burning sky, casting its final giant shadow over the canyon. The ground trembled with every blast. Smoke and dust swirled around the fighters. The sound of battle echoed for miles. Raylan's heart hammered as he stood at the front, shielding the hybrid child with his own body. The feathered mother was beside him, her blade blazing, her feathers dark with ashdot. The child stood very still. Everything slowed. Time seemed to stop as the child looked up. At the Queen's ship, its golden eyes glowed even brighter, shining through the dust and darkness. Suddenly, a deep voice rang out from the sky, cold, powerful, and proud. "You cannot win. Give me the child, and I will spare your lives." The crowd of rebels and outcasts wavered, glancing at each other, fear flickering in their eyes. Even the strongest among them took a step back, but the child did not move. It walked forward through the fighting. Through the fear, Raylan tried to follow, but the mother held his arm. Let the child decide. This is its moment. The Queen's ship opened. A ramp descended. The Queen appeared at the top, taller than any other, feathers shining like armor, her gaze sharp as a knife. She spoke, her voice echoing across the canyon. You are not one of us. You are a mistake. Choose now, surrender, or destroy what you are. The child stood at the base of the ramp and looked up at the queen. Then it turned and looked at Raylan, then the mother, then the crowd, all the humans and feathered ones. Rebels and old friends. The child raised both hands. A gentle golden wind swept across the canyon. Suddenly, the fighting stopped. Blasters and blades fell silent. Wounds began to close. Tired bodies grew lighter, and broken wings lifted. Raylan felt peace settle into his bones for the first time in years. The queen stared in shock, her soldiers frozen by the warmth filling the air. The child's voice spoke not out loud, but inside every mind. I am not a weapon. I am not a mistake. I am a beginning. We can be more if we choose. The queen stepped down, trembling. For the first time, there was fear and maybe regret in her eyes. She reached out as if to touch the child, but the mother blocked her with her blade. No more threats. No more fear. The mother said the child faced the queen one last time. You can choose, too. We can all change. There was silence. The queen looked at her people, at the rebels, the outcasts, the humans. She lowered her head, defeated. Raylan felt tears in his eyes as the golden light spread farther, touching every corner of the battlefield. The ships powered down. The rebels cheered, hugging each other. Old enemies dropped their weapons and helped the wounded. The mother knelt by the child, smiling through her tears. Raylan joined them. Holding both close, he whispered, "You did it. You changed everything." The child smiled, warm and proud. "No, Father, we did it together." Above, the sun rose over a new world, one where fear had faded and hope was born from a single impossible egg.